Okay, let's try it again.
Remember and vote on Thursday, September 8th. Get out there and do your duty. Vote.
Shuffle to the side, back, forward. Shuffle to the side, back, forward. Stay facing your corner. This corner, this corner. You're going to step forward on the left, turn and have to turn to your right. Weights on the right foot.
The dance they do? Let's try it. Weight on the right foot. Ready? And step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step. Step on his foot. Be nice. All right, let's try it from the beginning. Ready? And right out. Beginning. Ready? And right out. In, out, in, stop. Right heel and cross. Turn, clap. Step on the left, kick right. Step on the right, kick left. Step on the left, and hop. Shuffle back. Side shuffle. Rock. Side shuffle, rock, step, right, kick left, left, and hop, shuffle back, left, right, left, back, forward, right, left, fall back, side shuffle.
Now they're going to kill me if I do this. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highways, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. Good job. This land was made for you and me. Come on, you guys. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking the Pinellas Trail from Gibbs High School to historic Palm Harbor, and all around me the folks kept saying, no, 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 come on, Steve, this trail was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. Lovely day. One more time. Through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
If everybody would come down now and get around and get a seat for the dedication. We're now going to pass out the program for the dedication. We'll be passing these out. Paul?
No less. Will I be in the way if I sit here? No. If you keep doing that, your head's going to fall off. And then you'll look silly walking around with no head.
Oh, that would be true.
I always tell the little kids that. They're always going like this, you know. Are we amused?
Oh, yes. Here, we'll get your picture here.
Almost lost it that time. I have a pooped Toyota. Well, now, I wouldn't laugh if you're... Am I organized or what? You're silly. Honestly. Is this going to be on TV or something?
Every one of you here today. My name's Joseph Samnick, and it's a privilege and pleasure to be here with you today. About 8 weeks ago, or perhaps 10 weeks ago, I was at a historical society meeting. I excused myself for a moment, and when I came back, I had been elected to this chair. Yeah. So many of us owe so much to the Historical Society for their endeavors and their hard work in making today a reality. But we also owe a special thanks to the merchants and property owners of the Historical District and Florida Avenue, to the Pinellas County government for the enormous work and effort that they put in on our behalf, and a realization that today is the beginning of a very, very long and difficult journey that we all have to face. Those of us that are dedicated to the Historical Society and dedicated to what we're doing here today. Today is the day that's fun. Today's the day that gets it off and going, but clearly and definitively we're going to need the help and cooperation of so many more people. And we have a table here, the Historical Society does, and I would ask you to lend your time and talents to the effort of the Historical Society. It's good business for all of us, and each of us together. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you all to stand to present the flag of our country. home field advantage. Thank you very much, Joe. The Boy Scouts motto is be prepared. And Crystal Gale Cole couldn't be with us today, so would you lead us in the... Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Joe, take a vote. Oh, the epilogue. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry that Crystal Gale Coyle couldn't be here today, because she is a delightful young lady with a voice that is truly angelical, and I'm sorry that I'm sorry that she could not be here today. However, we do have Herb Hill with us to present the benediction. Herb?
Shall we pray? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and the glory of thy name. Everything that we do in this life, we consider it just to be true. Be with us and guide us and lead us, and give us strength. And we thank you so much for the great change happening every day of time on our day. We thank you for that. We thank you for the leadership and provisions of all things necessary. People working together in the United States, bringing us to our proud little unique town. In the future, we will ask for your guidance. And we thank you also for the visions and dreams of those in the past who brought this to us and made it possible. And again, it's over a week. We ask for your strength. We also ask for unity. Most of all, we ask for your love. And for us to understand that love and to live up to it. Be our guiding star. And we thank you for the beauty of this place. The wonderful sunset that we've enjoyed. The grass is green, the trees are sunlit. The birds sing. And all these things that make us out of the world that we have. Again, thank you for the wonder of your sunset and your sunset. Be with us and guide us. We thank you for the help and happiness you bring. Yes, in the name of God.
Thank you, Herb. Well, folks, I've waited a long, long time to have the honor and privilege and pleasure of introducing the president of the Historical Society, and I'm honored to be the one who is representing an enormous amount of people that wish they could be in my shoes and have this honor. Wynonna Jones is clearly a dreamer. I've known the young lady for a number of years now and have worked with she and her husband on many philanthropical endeavors. It takes a dreamer, clearly and obviously, to make something like the Historical Society a reality. But how fortunate we are to have Wynonna Jones, who's not only a dreamer, but an implementer, a woman that works hard and harder than most committee people and her entire staff under her. It is an enormous privilege and pleasure to bring to you the President of the Historical Society, Wynonna Jones.
I think he's a little taller than I am. And somehow I got trapped up there. It was not that I was trying to be the queen bee or something and coming down in the manner that I did. But I would like to thank all of the people who have worked so much to bring this day in. As Joe has said, especially those people in the county and the people from the Historical Society, but certainly for the people of this community, not only those on Florida Avenue, but also others from throughout the Palm Harbor area that has helped to make this day come to the fruition that we see today. I just wonder how many of the relatives of pioneer families we might have with us today. I know one because I've been married to him for a good long time now. We had a big party out at our house last week to celebrate the 50th wedding anniversary. And so I know he's here. And I saw Reba. Come on, I know there are some others that have been here for, and you're relatives of a lot of these pioneer families. Would you raise your hands, please, because we're kind of spread out. Okay, and I'm sorry, I know you. Jeanette Ulmer, okay. All right, tell us, I know you're an Ulmer, but how about your other family?
Well, I came from South Carolina, but I've been here 53 years.
53 years. That's great. Okay. Reba Ulmer Sutton has been here all of her life. I have known her for years and years. And of course, as I said, my husband, Charlie Jones, both of us are fourth generation from this area. I didn't see any over here. Aren't there some more that... Another one? Oh, behind the tree? Yes, I can't see you with my contacts. All right, would you introduce yourself or have somebody...
Faye Allison.
Oh, Faye Allison? Okay, thank you. And who's the other one? Oh, Enid Fishman?
Related to William Thompson, one of the pioneers. My great-grandfather.
Okay, related to William Thompson, who was one of the pioneers. One of the people that we had hoped would be able to be with us today was Eloise Thompson Wilson. And she is ill and apparently was not able to be here today. And some of her family that's still in the area were not able to be here because of other commitments. But we're certainly proud that all of you could be here, especially to join with us. Oh, Trudy, of course. How could... Trudy stays so active with the Historical Society that we just forget that just how much she has done. Thank you, Debbie, for reminding me of Trudy. Trudy has been in charge of our photographs and so forth and is doing a marvelous job of collecting those for us. All right, I would like to introduce the committee that has worked so hard on the activities of the day. You've met Joe Samnick, of course, Herb Hill, Lee Morrissey. Where's Lee? He's around here somewhere. See, they keep hiding. Okay, Lee, way in the back. Debbie Wright, Sandy Teeters, Nancy Russell, Carol McNamee, Marianne Skinner. My goodness, I'm going back to my school days. Marianne Smith. Help me, who am I forgetting? Dan Ferrens, I just saw him over here. Dolores Malden. I don't know. There's Dolores. See, they all try to hide. Pat Adams. Doris Mann, who is one of the early families, and she was not able to be with us today. They had an important family event today. So we are happy to have all of you here. Now,
Madam President of the Historical Society, I have some checks to present to you that have been donated to the Society for the future growth of what we intend to do here in Palm Harbor. One is from the Somerset Estate Builders, my builder, who's going to build my house unless you give a check. And one is from the Optimist Breakfast Club, who are trying to get me to transfer over. Other checks from my doctors are coming to you. I tell them if they want to listen to my heart, they got to look in their pocket first and bring out the check. So I hope that you'll put them to good use.
Oh, thank you, Dolores. And as Joe mentioned in the beginning, we are now with the activities today. Then we will go forward and we will have the day when our Master Planning Committee will be meeting, and we will go forward with all the plans for Florida Avenue. We hope to see it rebuilt back to the same mode that it was in way back when the college was here, and a lot of things were happening here in what is old downtown Palm Harbor, and now the historic district of Palm Harbor. Let me now introduce some of our special guests that we're so glad they could be with us today from throughout the area. First is Mr. Ken Ford. If any of you have been down to Heritage Park, you've seen a lot of the work that Ken has done. We've been pleased and proud to be able to work with him for well over 10 years now on some of the Pinellas Past Vision cable access programs that we've been doing for them. Ken, would you please stand and take a bow from the people? Thank you, Ken. Ken has certainly been a source of information as we've proceeded with a lot of things, and he'll be hearing a lot more from us as we go forward. Then we come to our school board members. I have a letter from Barbara Crockett, who could not be with us today. Thank you for your invitation to participate in the celebration honoring the creation of the proposed Palm Harbor Historic District on August 27th. This was written before the commission actually completed their vote. If we'd known it was going to go so smoothly, see, we would have had a little different invitation sent out. Unfortunately, I have company coming in from out of town on that date and therefore will be unable to attend. I am sorry that I will have to miss these festivities, but would like to extend my best wishes for a very successful event. Again, thank you for inviting me to participate, and please keep me in mind for any future events. And we're also very happy to have 4 members of our school board with us. Lee Benjamin. Lee, would you stand? Andy Thacker. Doreen Freeman. And of course our own Palm Harbor representative, Susan Latvala. And as I've told them, a lot of these people live down in the middle and southern part of the county, and I think it was fantastic that they took the time to come up and be with us today. We really appreciate it, and a little bit later in the program you will understand even more why we thought it was important for our school board people to be here. And then we have a true native of Palm Harbor, who certainly, when we talk about the school district and so forth, to see one of our own who is now the Area 1 Superintendent of the Pinellas County Schools. And of course, I don't think we could have had this today without having Bill Williamson with us. Bill, thank you so much. And I do remember Bill and his family for many, many years in the ball games and so forth that they always participated in. We did receive a phone call from Congressman Belarakis' office. He was hoping that he would be able to be with us today, but he let us know that if he could not, to let us know that he was certainly thinking about us and wished us the best of luck and congratulations on this special day. Senator Kirk Kaiser also desperately wanted to be here today, but other commitments forced him to be in another part of the state today. And we thought perhaps one of his legislative aides would be here. We did not see them. I don't want to miss anybody if they were here. Is there anyone here from Senator Kaiser's office? Okay, we'll go on. Of course, another person that's been very special for a long time to the Palm Harbor area, and that's Representative Sandy Safley. And I'll have to tell you that when we first began talking about a historic district, Sandy was one of the ones who came up to me and said, if there's anything I can do to help you as you go forward, and if you go on for the state designation, please let me know, and I want to help you in any way I can. And although I have to tell the story, I sent him 2 letters, and they were returned with the wrong address. I handed it to him a little while ago, and he said that was the right address, but he didn't get it. And we finally, after I had called and so forth, we faxed him his official invitation just this week, but he said he wouldn't have missed it for the world. So Sandy, would you stand? And then, of course, the group that without their help, we would not be here today. We've talked about this for so long, and this group of county commissioners not only saw the need of historic ordinance and so forth, but they went ahead and they not only passed that ordinance that allowed us to do what we have done in the unincorporated area of this county, but they have supported us and helped us in every way that they possibly could. And so we do have regrets from both Barbara Sheen Todd, who is in another area of the state, and from Charles Rainey, who could not be with us today. But you have heard Steve Seibert as he sang for us, and we're certainly glad that he's here to be with us. And then, of course, we have Bruce Tyndall, the chairman of the county commission, and I wonder if Bruce would have a few words for us.
Thank you, Wynonna. If I were a candidate, I believe I'd look up Dolores. Sounds like she's really good at raising funds. Get her to volunteer. Congratulations. What a fantastic achievement. I want to congratulate all the property owners, the individuals who work so hard, the citizens, our staff, for doing something that took a long time, a lot of initiative, and we were happy to be able to help. You've done this not only for your generation, but for all those generations that follow, and they will thank you also. Congratulations.
And of course, we could not have something like this without our own county commissioner, who has certainly been such a help and has just given us words of encouragement every opportunity that she had. Sally Parks. Sally.
Well, this is really a special day, and as I was driving here, I was thinking that it was almost exactly a year ago that we were sitting in this very gazebo in quite a different tone of a meeting, and that was when we were talking about the widening of County Road 1, and some of you will remember that well. And what is beautiful for me today is to see some of you out there who were very involved and concerned and in some cases upset about the expansion of County Road 1 now being, I hope, satisfied, but most importantly, turning that energy into what is happening today, this beginning and kickoff and sort of public acknowledgement of the historic society, as well as obviously just appreciating this wonderful historic district. I was here about 9 o'clock this morning, driving through, watching people beginning to prepare this area, and realizing what a gorgeous and splendid view we have in looking out over the water here and so on. What wisdom these folks had 100 years ago, and what wisdom that you all have today for making this happen. I particularly, and I know Wynonna is going to acknowledge our 3 staff people here, but I want to particularly acknowledge Brian Smith and his staff, Gordon Beardsley and Pat Dye, who have been so helpful. And really, I'm sure it couldn't have been done without you. Thank you very much for your participation in this, much of which was done on their own time, not just on county time, if you will. The other day, when we did present to and have the public hearing and then present to the Historical Society the decision that there would be a Palm Harbor Historic District, we also presented a sign, which I'm sure that some of you have seen around already, because now there's several of them I see. And I have some photographs for those people who were there, so if you'll come up, these are the photographs that we have. There'll be enough of them, I think, to spread around the audience. So let me call forward Carol McNamee, Sandy Teeters, Nancy Russell, Lee Moyes, Charlie and Wynonna Jones, Debbie Wright, Reba Sutton, and Herb Hill. Please come up. I've got one for all of you. Steve Seibert wasn't in that picture. We purposely left him out. And he's a little sensitive about it. Thank you, Sandy. Oh, my pleasure. Charlie. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. Hi, Debbie. Thanks. Good. Good. Reba. And finally, I'd just like to say that Charlie and Wynonna are so special, and it takes good people to lead, and it takes good people to follow. I'm delighted that I'm going to be asking my fellow commissioners, they don't even know this yet, to appoint Wynonna Jones as my appointment to the Pinellas County Historical Commission, and I think that she will be a superb choice, and I'm delighted that Palm Harbor is now represented, and will now be represented on the Historical Commission. Oh, I got 3 votes. I think it's a done deal.
All I can say this, it's not in the sunshine with the clouds. Right. Well, as Sally said, there are some very special people here who are county employees, and just as I said, these county commissioners did so much to help us. Without the help of 4 people, only 3 could be with us today. But nobody knows the amount of time that these people spent listening to us, wondering what in the world we were doing, trying to explain the procedures to us as we worked. We had at least 1 meeting a month out at our home for, I think, 6 or 7 months, and they were there to help us as we wrote this zoning overlay, which had to be a part of the district. And as Sally has already said, so much of that time was their own time. And so we are a fairly new organization, and so we're not affluent in any means, but I want them to know how much we do appreciate all that they did. Paula Dye, and Paula, this is just a certificate of our appreciation. And Marcel Mosini could not be with us today. I believe he's ill, and probably from working with us as much. And I was going to tell him, he's the one that keeps pushing us, you know, on all these grants. When Dolores gave us this money to get these grants, whether it's from the state or from a lot of the other organizations that we know of, we do have to have matching funds from our own area. But Marcel is the one that will be helping us with those. And then Gordon Beardsley, who works with them, and Gordon, thank you so much. He's the one who met with us a little over a year ago and began this whole procedure. And thank you so much. And if you will give one to Marcel as well. And then their boss, Brian Smith, and I could tell you a few little tales about Brian and the things that have gone on. But Brian, we do appreciate you letting your staff work with us as they have. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to turn this part of the program back over to Joe, and he will continue. But before I do, and as he comes up, Joe, get up here. I'll introduce Steve. I'm being told I didn't introduce you. Those of us who have worked in planning this day know why Joe is getting a certificate of appreciation from us. We told him that after tonight, he can just totally relax for at least 2 or 3 days. And, you know, if he gets a phone call or anything else, we're going to take the phone off the hook. Thank you, Joe, for all the work you've done. Here we go, Joe.
See, this is good for me. Okay. I'm going to introduce Paul Kremrang to you now. He's a candidate for Democrat. No, I'm not allowed to say that. Okay. Paul is the chairperson for the dedication ceremony, which we're enjoying at the moment, and he has a letter from our governor to read. Thank you.
Hello. One of the people we tried to get to this was the governor of the state of Florida. He was unable to attend today, but he did send us a letter. And this letter reads, the governor of the state of Florida, dated this date, August 27th. Greetings. It is a pleasure to extend congratulations to you on the dedication of the Palm Harbor Historic District. This milestone marks the culmination of the dreams of many people, and I commend you on the persevering with these dreams to establish the first Florida-based historic district located in an unincorporated area. I am certain the area residents share the pride of this accomplishment. I regret that I cannot be with you today, but send best wishes for a most enjoyable dedication ceremony. With regards, I am sincerely Lawton Childs. And I'd like to turn this back over at this time to Wynonna Jones.
These guys are much too tall. Or I'm too short. I don't know which. Right. I will say that our guest speaker today has been a person I have known and admired as a teacher and as a citizen of our county for more years maybe than either one of us want to actually admit to. But Doug Jamison became Florida's Commissioner of Education in January 1994 when he was appointed by Governor Childs to complete the term that had been vacated by Betty Castor, who is now the president of one of my universities, University of South Florida in Tampa. Doug had previously served in the Florida House of Representatives, where he chaired the Education Committee after he had established himself as one of the House principal leaders in education. And certainly while I was, and probably still am, a registered lobbyist for education, our entire delegation was always very receptive. But certainly when we saw Doug, we knew we had an ear and somebody who understood and knew education. He has been a strong supporter of school restructuring. He was at the forefront of Florida's school improvement initiative. In fact, he helped to author Blueprint 2000. And if you haven't had much experience with that, just before I retired, we did have a chance to begin work on that right here in this county and the changes that it will make within our schools. This was Florida's landmark school reform legislation. Prior to entering politics, he was a highly respected teacher in Pinellas County, as I've indicated, and he has also served as a military police officer while stationed in Turkey with the United States Air Force. In the legislature, his bills always demonstrated a concern for improving the process of education for both teachers and students. His proposed legislation included providing school instructional personnel with tuition-free courses at state community colleges and universities. And many teachers probably owe their recertification to that particular issue. Improving benefits for retired teachers, and I'm looking forward to some of those benefits. Establishing breakfast programs for pre-kindergarten students, and calling for recommendations on multicultural education and teacher training. Now presiding over one of the largest and fastest growing and most diverse school systems in the nation. And I believe I read the other day that it's about 20,000 more students this year in the state of Florida. And those of us who have and are involved with the school system know what that means to every individual school in the state. Commissioner Jamison brings to his office a strong commitment to three major areas affecting education. Those are creating safe schools, encouraging parent involvement, and providing each and every student the means for a successful career after school. Palm Harbor is proud of its educational history. In about a year, I believe, the doors of Palm Harbor University High School will be open, and that will complete one of the circles of education in this area. Perhaps some of you are not aware that Southern College was once right along Florida Avenue. The dormitory was down where the Texaco station is, the boys' dormitory. Up at the top of the hill was the main college buildings. And so this circle has been completed with our new high school, which is why we wanted our school board people and our representatives from our school system here, in addition to Commissioner Jamison. It's very appropriate that such a good friend of education as Doug Jamison is, and I was told he was a fifth-generation Floridian, but he corrected me earlier and said it's only 4, so he hasn't beat me on that one, since both Charlie and I are also fourth. And so he has lived his life in Pinellas County, and I could not be more honored and more proud than to introduce to this audience Commissioner Doug Jamison, Commissioner of Education.
Thank you very much, Wynonna, for that wonderful introduction. And I'd like to extend my deepest appreciation to the officers and members of the Historic Society. I consider it a singular honor and privilege to have been invited here, where we will now begin to finally recognize the coming of age of Palm Harbor as a bedrock community here in Pinellas County. As Wynonna told you, I am fourth generation. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were all born in Marion County, outside of Ocala. And I was born in Pinellas County, so they have considered me to be the city cousin. They say since I was not born in the country, I'm a bit disadvantaged. But I am proud to be born here in Pinellas County. My wife, who could not be here with you today, is from one of the oldest families also on the Pinellas County coast. She was as a member of the Williams family, and she sends her regrets, but her sorority is having an event, scheduling an event, and she had to be there today. So we deeply appreciate being here with the wonderful people of Palm Harbor as they celebrate the 100th year of this wonderful, wonderful community. Before I became a teacher, I was a police officer, and I used to have to patrol this area for the Pinellas County School Board, and I used to go to Azona and Wynonna Elementary, and so therefore I have seen this area grow so wonderfully over those last 27 years, and it's just been a great benefit to us here in Pinellas County. But I'm also here to talk to you about education. And that's what Wynonna wanted me to share with you, and to tell you that there is a new spirit in education in Florida, one that is going to begin to restore us to a period of time where we recognize the basics, the fundamentals of reading, writing, and arithmetic. But also, thank you, also we are going to stress what I'm calling 3 new R's for education, and that is reform, responsibility, and respect. Those 3 R's must also be added into our system. Now, why must the system reform? Any dynamic institution like education must be in a continual state of renewal. And in 1991, with the help of my good friend Sandy Safley, we created an effort that has had revolutionary changes made in the way education will be delivered. Blueprint 2000 that Wynonna mentioned to you is a realization that we have recognized that we can no longer control the schools from Tallahassee, that we must allow more local control, local decision making, if we're going to make a difference for children. And so the system must reform both in classroom configuration and curriculum content if these young people, the next generation, are going to have the opportunity to continue to lead Florida and lead the nation and keep us at a competitive advantage in a new economic reality. Whose responsibility is it? It must be the responsibility of each and every one of us. For too long, I believe the system tended to believe that if we but give them the kids and give them the money and get out of the way, they could solve the problems. Well intended, but wrong. We have allowed parents to feel as if, some of them, that they don't have to be involved, and many others we have said, well, go away and we'll set up some barriers to your coming here. The business community has also expressed that same sentiment to me and to Sandy and other members, and they felt as if they were not accepted. So we said it can no longer be solely the responsibility of the school to prepare a child for his or her success, that all of us working together in a collaborative effort can bring about the necessary improvement in education that we must accomplish. And now the last R is respect. As Commissioner of Education, I'm going to ensure and insist that children respect their teachers, their support personnel, and they're going to respect seniors, and we're going to respect them for their rightful role in our lives. Thank you. I tell the story of how I think somehow we've allowed our children to get a little bit far afield of us. I have a son who is 12 and, God willing, will make 13 in October. He is in the middle school where the truly challenged people teach, if you're in the middle school. Cedric came home to me one day and he said, Dad, is it true that if I thought you were being abusive that I could report you to HRS? And I told him, yes, Cedric, but if they don't take you with them when they leave, you're going to have to call them back again. And, you know, it's going to be a serious problem in our house. And I told him the last time, it's been a long time since I've been in a classroom and I took science, but my remembrance of science, that the earth revolved around the sun, and that's spelled S-U-N, not S-O-N. So what I'm saying to you, we've got to insist that our young people understand there must be parameters on their behaviors, and we are going to have to show them how that is going to be done. So if we will but develop the 3 new R's that I've told you about, they're basic to us, they're basic to the foundations that we are built upon, but we need to get back to that community, that sense of community that you're bringing together here in the historic district of Palm Harbor. I know that we're going to succeed in education. Pinellas County is a leader in the state and also in the nation in our efforts to make education work. We must keep our young people at the cutting edge. Competition for us was within national boundaries. But for them, they're going to compete in an international marketplace and in a global economy. And we must train them and make them ready to go out and be contributing, productive members of their community. So I'm glad to be here with you today. I celebrate with you the great day here in Palm Harbor, where we are going to memorialize and commemorate the founders who had the presence of mind to settle on these beautiful shores. Thank you, Wynonna, every one of you.
Thank you, Doug. And
well, the only thing is, Cedric will take this too. Thank you, Wynonna. Thank all of you very much.
And I believe everybody has one of our programs that we had. We want to be sure that you have those. I would like to also give each one of our honored guests one of our bumper stickers. We would hope that you have a vehicle. You might want to put it on. Steve may want to put it on his rollerblades or his bicycle, but we want people all over the area to know that we are truly a historic district now. So let me pass these out to each one.
Suitcase over here.
Okay, I think it is going to be raining. We do want to thank the bank for allowing us to meet in this area, and I'm going to ask Doug if he will come up. And the county did provide, very unknowing to us, these huge signs that Sally talked about, and they are already up to designate the district. We had gone out and Mancraft, which is owned by George and Maureen Mann, who is one of the pioneer families. George was a descendant of the Thompson family, one of the first families in the area, and they made us some plaques that we were going to put up until we could get some a little larger. So we have those, and Doug, if you'd help me, I'd like for you to come up and help me unveil these. And Sally, why don't you... Yeah, we want you in one picture.
Just one, though.
We do have two of these, and now the society will have to decide where we want to put the ones that we had made, because certainly the county has designated this district and has shown it so well. Again, I want to thank each of you for coming and sharing with us today, and I'm going to ask Herb Hill if he will give our dedication prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much again. We thank you for sharing with us this dedication day, and may we start a new challenge and a ring of happiness and joy in our little town of Palm Harbor. It is so unique, and let us leave here, if we have any divisions and any hurts in our heart, may you heal those things. May we truly love our neighbor, and above all, we want to keep on loving you because you love us so much. Just as I say, lead us and guide us and take care of us always. And when we need strength and courage, we'll call on you. And I know you've always been so wonderful and kind to me and done so much in my life and worked miracles and wonders. And just like a mother hen, you've taken care of me. And I know many of you are the same way. We thank you for the joy of this day. We are very, very happy about Palm Harbor. Whenever I first saw this place, Father, as you know, I experienced that feeling when I looked down over Florida Avenue into the sea. I was amazed. I thought my forefathers that came here must have thought the same thing. Lead us and guide us and give us strength. And we will do that. We promise Palm Harbor that the historic society will do the best that we can at all times. We ask this in the name of our Master and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Someone told me the other day that after the county commission meeting, they could not be at that meeting that night, and they really wanted to be. And I had told them that we were going to let out a loud yell when and if they passed that motion to make this a historic district. And I think it all came about so quickly that we sat there kind of stunned and we didn't do it. And I think a good way to close this dedication ceremony is to let out that loud yell of appreciation for the Palm Harbor Historic District. Let's hear it from everybody. Come on, let's hear it. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. If we don't get totally rained out, we are going to have some music, and if anybody wants to come up here and dance, or you want to get out in the street and dance, let's celebrate the Palm Harbor Historic District. And again, thank all of our special guests and all of you from the community for coming out and sharing with us today.